Hi and welcome to 300mw FPV. Today is my video debut of the 3-inch conversion frame for the EMAX Tinyhawk Freestyle and Freestyle 2. Alrighty, before I get too in depth in the build, I'm going to show you my Maiden Flights that I did before adding the TBS Crossfire and the 300mw VTX. Alright, now here for our first flight we're going to go with the classic EMAX 450s. Got my XT30 wiring harness. Let's get it up, see what she can do. Everything looks good. DVR recording. Oh wow. Hovering about 30% throttle, huh? 31. This is with the EMAX 450. Oh yeah. Yeah, so, you get a new model, you got to do a durability test, right? So I figure, why not just slam it into the roof of the garage? As good a place as any. There was no frame damage. The only thing it did was actually broke the two standoff bolts at the heads, and I was just able to replace them. Alright, before we get too much further into the build, I am going to show you the maiden flight after my Crossfire and 300mw VTX upgrade. That flight was done with the Infinity 850mw Graphene 85C 2S pack. Let's go out to the field and I'll show you that one. Okay, so what started this project here? Well, it all started with me looking up Dave C FPV's micro long range builds that he has on Thingiverse and his YouTube page. This one here is his 3-inch micro long range, which I have a video of on my YouTube, which I'll link over in one of these things. And before I had CNC Madness cut me this frame, I had 3D printed the frame to get a look at it, put it together, get a feel for it. And I wanted to put something in that 3D printed frame knowing that it would break. So I chose the lightest thing I could find, which was the EMAX Tinyhawk all-in-one board. I then took his design, modified it to accept the flight controller and the 3-hole motor mounts, made it a unibody. To then test even further, I pressed and built my own fiberglass frame using a bandsaw and Dremel to get my desired shape. This one flew great as well. And after the few tests I did with that, I decided that my design would be good enough to be cut from carbon fiber. I contacted CNC Madness again. Thank you guys for dealing with a newbie and not knowing how to get you the correct files. But after a little email back and forth, I was able to get a good frame cut. And why only order one? So I ordered two. Here is the one-piece bottom plate cut from 2.5mm thick carbon, all chamfered edges with recessed screws. Frame came out amazing, just flawless. Strong. And our top plate is cut from 1.5mm. Now it's a bottom mount battery, that's why I went with a thin top plate, and these crazy cutouts here are so it is easier to access your flight controller. Plug for beta flight. Now I do have quite a bit of room here. Looks like I can lower my standoffs a bit, but I have a new camera system on the way. I bought the Runcam Split Mini 3 Lite, the one for the whoops, and I'm going to try and mount that under there so I can get some HD footage with this as well. Now it's running the stock EMAX 1103 7000 kV motors. I've got the GEMFAN 3018 bi-blades. The motor wires had to be extended on all four to reach the flight controller. I used for a battery strap, I used the battery pad from the S series of EMAX to bolt to the bottom, and my strap runs under that. 3D printed parts are from Dave C's Thingiverse page. The front ones are. This one I will have to link it. I can't remember. Let's go ahead and get it on the scale. See what she weighs. I have a terrible scale. It doesn't go down to the decimal, but we'll get a good idea anyways. $86 grams, give or take. Now I've been running it with a slew of batteries. I have a Infinity 850 Graphene 2S. That gave me a 6-minute flight. All up weight of 135 grams. I've also been testing with the RDQ 650 2S. With that one on there. $124 grams. I also have a mess of these 1S batteries that I have been testing with it as well, and made a pigtail to connect two into one XT30 connector with two of the original batteries, the EMAX 450s. And with the EMAX 450s, I was looking for the pigtail, and the pigtail come to 112, 113 grams. Now the VTX I chose only because it was the one I had in the stash, was the IFlight Micro Force 25 to 300. Plus the weight of this is so little. I removed the old VTX off its standoffs and soldered wires to the post to run out over to the VTX. And for the TBS Crossfire, it's going to be very hard to see, but it is all wired on the bottom side of the board except for the ground, to keep it clean, get it out of the way, because I knew I was going to have the video wires up on top. There is also one more type of batteries I have been testing with it, and before the VTX and Crossfire upgrade, it gave me almost a 9-minute flight. It is a 2S 18650. This one here is a 1300 milliamp, and I also have a 1500 milliamp. Now the 1500 milliamp battery flies this no problem and gave me almost a 9-minute flight. Now the weight with this battery is substantial. Brings it to 178, 77 grams. And this is a micro long range, so it's not intended for freestyle. It's more of a cruiser explorer. So if you think this is cool and you'd like to give it a shot, I put this design up on Thingiverse. I'll put a link in my description. I have included an STL file of the lower frame and the upper plate, and a DXF file, the exact same one I sent to CNC Madness to have cut. I ordered the kit with 4 standoffs and 8 screws. The standoffs were too tall. That was my mistake, ordering too large a standoffs. I think the ones I have on here are 21s, 22. I don't even know what these ones are. These are 25s. If you're not doing an upgraded camera board, you could go with 20mm stacks and get it really nice and tight, low profile. I don't mind it being up here, especially since I'm going to be adding the HD camera. I might need that space anyways. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Give me a comment. Tell me what your thoughts are. Any suggestions. Go over to my Thingiverse page, download it, check it out. It was super fun to build, and I think you guys will enjoy it. check out more of my upcoming content. I'm going to be putting up a bunch of videos of this, doing test flights, trying to do some long range, and maybe maybe you have to go for some walks of shame. You know, you got to test your equipment before you can be comfortable with it, right? So more to come. Thanks everyone. Happy flying.